The following podcast is brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is your number one source for the best deals on sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, and a whole lot more. Go to SeatGeek.com or download the SeatGeek app and use promo code BLUESEATS for $20 off your first purchase. That's promo code BLUESEATS only at SeatGeek, the official ticketing partner of From the Blue Seats, a New York Rangers podcast. Let there be live. Ladies and gentlemen, the Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and we got ourselves a party going on in the studio right now. If you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on the audio side, I got a star-stacked list of guests with me tonight. I've got Neil Villapiano from Devil State of Mind. I've got Heath. I've got Kyle. I've got Jeff from Mind Your Pucking Business. And I've got Kim Moisa, a.k.a. Isles Girl 3 on Twitter. We are stacked tonight. We got a lot to talk about. Guys, how the heck are we all doing? I'm going to start with ladies first. Kim, what is going on? Welcome back to the show. Thanks so much for being on.
Thanks so much, Jimmy. I'm doing well. My Islanders are in. That's just like, that was just get that stamped off. Okay. just wanted that stamped off. We're in. 4% money puck and suck it. We're in.
Hey, by the skin of your teeth, but hey, I know you'll take it. But it's good to see that you're doing well in all seriousness.
82 games last season. It only took us 81 this year.
One game, whoop-de-doo. Anyway, we got Jeffrey from Mind Your Pucking Business. Jeff, welcome back, my man. How are you?
Thank you, Jimmy. Excited to be here. It is the best time of year in hockey coming up. I am psyched for tomorrow. Even though the Rangers don't play, I'll be locked into all the games, and I'm sure everyone else here will be.
Abso-freaking-lutely, my man. Of course, we got Kyle, the THPN manager. Kyle, what's up, my guy? How are you?
I'm tired, and we're not even started the playoffs yet. I'm crying on the inside. It's all good, though, Jimmy. Thanks for having me back.
Nah, man. It's all good. First time ever on the show. Your partner CD has told me a lot about you. What's going on, my guy? How are you?
Not much. Doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime. Always a pleasure. And Neil, you know it's always a pleasure to chat with you, my guy. How's it going?
I'm doing pretty well. Obviously, a lot different than last year, in terms of how I feel going into it. But I think nonetheless, as just a hockey fan, I'm looking forward to the playoffs, looking forward to just seeing what they have in store for us over the next 2+ months that we got.
Yeah. No, I think we're definitely all feeling that way. So we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to get right into each series and give our picks for each series. Yeah. We're going to start in the Western Conference first. We're going to start with Canucks and Nashville. Now, I'm going to be real here. I didn't think Nashville was going to make the playoffs at all. So for them to be here is kind of a surprise. But hey, you know what? Philip Forsberg went off this year. Probably should be considered for the Hart Trophy as a dark horse pick, in my opinion. Who the heck knows? But hey, it's my opinion. But anyway, that's beside the point. I didn't expect. Yeah, you don't give me that look, Neil. You know I'm right. But anyway, that's beside the point. No, listen. In all seriousness, give Nashville a lot of credit. They did a lot of work to get here. And Vancouver was definitely one of the more surprised teams in the NHL the entire season. I don't think anybody and their grandmother expected Vancouver to be fighting for the top seed in the entire league, let alone the Pacific Division. So I'm going to start with the ladies first once again. Kim, your thoughts on the series, and who do you think takes it?
Yeah, so definitely Vancouver popping off. That was fun to watch, honestly. I enjoyed watching Vancouver pop off. Wish Beauvillier could have been a little bit part of it, but he's with Nashville now, so he's on the other side of the coin. But
revenge tour.
But you said you
Yes.
were surprised by Nashville. Never underestimate Barry Trotz, sir. Never underestimate Barry Trotz. That's something I've learned. But yeah, watching these two teams, this is going to be a fun series in my opinion. Looking at these two teams, I mean, the easy answer is Vancouver, and I'm going with the easy answer of Vancouver in this series. They're going to be my pick. I mean, they're just a hot bunch. My God, the way they have popped off. Yes, you know, with Nashville, they've had the hot hands, but I feel like sometimes when Nashville, when it counts most, they kind of crumble, and so I feel like in desperate moments for them, even with special teams, it's not going to be to the extent of what the Canucks can bring. And I mean, their goaltending. I mean, come on. So I'm gonna go Nucks.
Nucks in how many games?
I want to
See, yeah, that's where the tough part comes in.
Kyle and
I'm
I
sorry,
we got
Nashville.
picks and games.
I'm sorry,
I'm ready to
Nashville.
go.
I'm gonna say 5.
Uh-oh. Wait, what? I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I'm gonna say 5.
5.
Nucks in 5. Oh my goodness. All right. And by the way, before everybody else gives their picks, I do have picks from my side project co-hosts from the bottom line, Austin and Andrew. So I'll give their picks after I give mine. But I'll go last. I'm gonna let my guests go first. So Kim says Vancouver in 5. Jeff, what about you, my boy?
I'm going Nashville in this series. I think it's a good series, but Nashville can absolutely beat Vancouver. I think there are some weaknesses in Vancouver's game that Nashville is the sort of team that can exploit. I think Andrew Burnett is totally underrated. I'm sure Neil misses him in New Jersey.
Please stop. No, we're not doing this. I didn't ask for it.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be rude there. I was just making a point. I am going to go Nashville in 6, that they win it on their home ice in Game 6. But it should be a very entertaining series. But I like Nashville to win that series.
Nashville in 6. I like it. Kyle?
Yeah, I got Nashville in 6 too. I like
Wow,
the
okay.
Canucks. I think with the acquisition of Elias Lindholm, it's not been favorable because he hasn't been really productive on the points side of things. Ultimately, for me, it's going to come down to big moments for this Canucks team, and specifically on home ice, right? You know, you have big games in Game 1 and Game 2 at home, and for me, that could really dictate this series. I think Saros could steal this series easily. Roman Yossi's just been a dog all year and has really carried this team. And I feel like this has been a little bit of like a glimmer of this like St. Louis Blues team all the way back in 2019, where they just got hot all the way from, what was it, January till they won the cup, right? So I'm not saying they're going all the way, but I got to give Nashville the edge here a little bit. I think my only concern maybe would be, you know, who's going to score some goals on this team for Nashville. But I still like them. I like their depth a little bit more than Vancouver. I like their goaltending a little bit more. I think they're a little bit more well-rounded, so I'll go Nashville in 6.
Wow, 2 in a row for Nashville in 6. I like it. Heath, what about you?
I'm gonna make that 3 for 3. I got Nashville in 6.
Wow,
that's what I.
Nobody likes Vancouver. Okay,
that's what I had in a
see
series
how it
coming
is.
out. 2 of the best goaltenders in the NHL going head to head. I think that Saros maybe has the edge. Demko obviously being hurt for a little bit of the end of the season, just coming back from an injury. You don't know how healthy he is, if he can withstand a 7-game series. And DeSmith behind him hasn't looked great going down the stretch. So I've got Nashville in 6. I think that they're gonna come out flying, and honestly, I think they take the first 2 on home ice there. From Vancouver. I think they take them from Vancouver on Vancouver's home ice.
I'll tell you what. If they can do that, Vancouver's in trouble. Neil, what about you, man?
They said the same thing about the Rangers and Devils last year when the Rangers won the first 2 games in New Jersey.
Oh God, can you leave the Devils out of it, man?
I'm just saying. Anyway,
Wow.
I'm going to make it 4 for 4. I'm going to go with the Preds in 6. And
Wow.
the reason for me is because you have a matchup between, like everybody's talking about, you have a matchup of 2 of the best goalies in the league right now in Connor Hellebuck and Yusei Saros. And when you get in the playoffs, it's going to come down to defense and goaltending as we get further along here. And I think that Vancouver, I look at the last 2 months, last month and a half, they've really, really struggled. they haven't looked as good as they did the first half of the year. And I get that sometimes it's hard to maintain that level of success throughout an entire 82-game season. But there are just some question marks with regards to defense. Demko's been shaky at times. I think Nashville is a sneaky good team that got hot at the right time. You saw that point streak that they went on earlier back in March. Like, this is a really, really good Nashville team. So I think overall, I do think that they are going to find a way to get at least a game, maybe two, like he said, in Vancouver. And I think ultimately they're going to win the series. So I'm going to go with the Preds in 6.
Well, this is something that's never happened with me and my picks before. I think you boys are you're making me change my mind about my original pick.
Yeah, right.
Because I originally had Canucks in 6, but
Then stick with it.
considering what you guys were talking about, Nashville playing hot at the right time, 2 of the best goals in the NHL, Andrew Burnett being a very underrated coach. They've been scoring in bunches. Their defense has been extremely underrated. I really hate to do it. I'm sorry, Vancouver. Give me Nashville in 7. I think this is going the distance. Nashville in 7.
I would love the underdog to come through here, man.
You can go with this.
I just
We'll have to clip this.
I do have picks from my bottom line cohorts here. By the way, go subscribe to Bottom Line. I'll leave a link down below in the description section. Anyway, Andrew is picking the Canucks in 5.
Damn.
And Austin,
I swear, dude.
Austin is a bit much. He's also picking Nashville
Don't.
in 4.
I knew it. I knew he
in
was
4.
BS
No,
like
he's
that.
fucking
My man literally has no faith in the Vancouver Canucks at all.
That's a bit disrespectful.
According to according to this message from him, and I quote, Vancouver is going to shit the bed just like Boston did last year against Florida. And I quote.
but they didn't win the
Yeah,
President's
that's what he said. That not
Another
me.
team did.
And Boston lost in 7.
Yeah, I wouldn't say losing in 7 in overtime is shitting the bed as much as I don't like
Yeah,
Boston.
thank you.
I'm not sure,
Thank
I'm not
you.
sure
Yeah.
I would use that.
No.
I mean, he did
as
blow
the
That's what I'm
3 games
saying.
to 1 lead, but
That's what
But
I'm
no.
saying. That's what I'm saying. But anyway, next series, Oilers and Kings.
yes.
This one I was kind of back and forth on, to be honest with you, because look, the Oilers, it's 2 guys, obviously, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Their goaltending is still suspect, and they do have some other decent pieces offensively, but it's mainly just those 2 guys. I trust the Kings way more than I trust the Oilers at this point. Do I think the Oilers have a chance? Yes, I do.
What are you doing?
But
What are you
I'm
doing?
going with the Kings in 6. Kings in
Oh
6.
man.
Kings in 6.
God.
Kim, you're next.
I'm always next.
Do the circle.
Can we do the other way?
I mean, I feel like Neil's gonna shoot me. I kind of agree with Jimmy.
Thank you.
I feel like it's Connor, again the big names, the guys, and then you're looking at goaltending being and it's been a back and forth kind of thing for me, looking at both ends of the spectrum. But I still believe the LA Kings will pull this out in 6.
6 games. All right. Jeffrey.
I'm going to disagree. I don't think LA is that good. I really don't.
Wow.
And I think Edmonton is better than people think. Look at the coaching change with Knobloch, since how they've been playing since he came in. And also, if you're an elite player in this league, which Connor McDavid clearly is, at some point in your career, right? It just has to happen, you would think. You carry a team on your back and get them to where you need to go. And this is a first-round series versus a team that's not very good. I'm actually saying the Oilers in 5. I mean, I don't even think this is a series.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oilers at
Yeah.
5. Wow.
I'm with Jeff here. I got Oilers in 5 as well. Goaltending, both goaltenders, I think it's a wash. I mean, they both have ups and downs in their year, but if Pierre-Luc Dubois doesn't show up for this LA Kings team, which I don't trust him with a 5-foot pole anyway, McDavid and Draisaitl are just going to carry this team regardless. And I mean, you can't discount what Zach Hyman's done this year either. So, I think it's too easy for me in this one. I think the Kings have gotten worse compared to last year's matchup when they both played. The Oilers have, you can argue they've gotten better or they've been the same, but this really shouldn't be a matchup. I got Oilers in 5.
Heath?
That's an interesting pick. I'm gonna go Kings in 6, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Thank you.
I really think the Kings have better depth.
Yes.
In watching them all year, they really do have better depth. It's gonna all come down to if Cam Talbot can stop the puck. If Cam Talbot cannot stop the puck, it's gonna be a clean sweep, and that's what there's no coming back from that. But the Kings have a better depth defensively. They have a better depth offensively. Victor Arvidsson's healthy for the first time in the last 2 postseasons. You got Kevin Fiala heating up and Adrian Kempe heating up at the right times. And then you have one of the best defensive centers in the NHL in Anze Kopitar centering that top line. So don't
forget Drew Doughty either.
And Drew Doughty has found his game again. So
the Western 8.
I will say if they did have Jonathan Quick in their net of this year, I think that it would be an easy answer for all of us to go Kings in 6.
Yeah.
So
I would be much more secure.
It is the goaltending that I have major concerns with both teams.
Mm-hmm.
No, goaltending is a huge question mark for both teams, but I'm telling you right now, I trust Cam Talbot more than I trust Stuart Skinner. Like, really? Cam Talbot won a freaking President's Trophy with the Rangers, for crying out loud. I'm trusting him way more than I trust Stuart Skinner of the Edmonton Oilers. Like, what are we talking about here? But go ahead.
Neil, bury these boys. And girl. Sorry.
I don't care. I'm
done? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we're done for now.
First of all, Kyle, thank you for mentioning Zach Hyman, because he had 54 goals this year. That was no slouch. Like, Zach Hyman has done very well since he went over to Edmonton. So here's the thing. There's a reason that Todd McClellan got fired earlier this year. There's a reason for that. Part of it is him. Part of it is the fact that I don't think the Kings really are good enough to make a run in these playoffs. Goaltending is a major question. Cam Talbot is not that good. He just isn't. And if he's not playing well, who's their backup? Like, seriously. David Riddick. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, this is not a thing. It's one of those series where I think the Kings are just going to have trouble dealing with Edmonton's off-rush play. I think that overall it's going to be – I think the Kings will make it interesting. But with that being said, I'm going to go with Edmonton in 5. I just don't believe in the Kings that much at all, quite frankly. And Jimmy, you mentioned that, Cam Talbot, was part of a President's Trophy team. How many years ago was that?
It was back in 2014, 2015.
That was a decade ago, buddy. This is
okay, and what's your point? What's your point?
My point is
10 years ago.
That was 10 years ago, buddy. That was 10 years ago. You're gonna
tell me you trust Stuart Skinner over what has Stuart Skinner done? What has he done?
Better down the stretch.
That is true.
If we're being honest, the Kings are limping into the playoffs. They are not coming into it playing at a high level, in my opinion. Okay?
Don't count out the underdog.
We like it. Why do you think I went with Nashville? I went with Nashville before. And believe me, it's going to get a lot more interesting as we go along here with my picks. With that being said,
oh boy,
I'm going to go with Edmonton in 5.
All right.
Clearly, we're all very split on this series, and I think my bottom line co-hosts are as well, as Andrew is picking the Oilers in 6.
Okay.
And Austin is picking the Kings in 7.
Okay. That's
okay.
To everyone who
at least he's giving a little bit of faith to the Oilers, so I will give Austin that.
To everyone who has the Oilers, I will say Cam Talbot's numbers in his last 5 have not been good. So I will say that he has been under 900 in every game but 2 of his last 5. So that is not a very good sign. And last night he had a 6.62
Mm,
and gave
Yeah,
up four goals on
that's
13
rough.
shots
Against
Against-
Chicago.
against Chicago.
What?
Chicago, yeah.
Against
Yeah.
Chicago, they somehow pulled
Also,
out an overtime victory 5-4.
Like,
That's where I think the Kings will be better than Edmonton, is they can pull out that they can score at a higher rate than Edmonton. If McDavid gets shut down like he has the last few series when they
There's
played the
no
Kings,
way. I'm sorry. There's no way.
we got to clip this one, and we'll come back to this one if the Kings end up winning this series. There's
Can we
They
please?
had 130
Can we please?
points this year. What are
we'll
you talking about?
clip this one.
Wait,
All right, fair enough.
Kyle, hang on, my boy. Repeat what you just said.
McDavid's got what, over 130 points this year? Whatever it is.
it's
Yes.
a down year for him.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Insane.
Down year. Okay. All right.
You know
So
who I think is
I
wait, you know
respect-
who I think is
I
going to be the
respect it.
X factor for Edmonton in this first round?
who?
The Nuge, Ryan Nugent Hopkins.
Oh, Nugent Hopkins.
No, bro.
No? Really?
Don't disrespect
I
the
don't
Nuge. Kim, do not disrespect the Nuge, please.
I disagree with it. I don't know.
Anyway,
I'm just saying,
Moving on.
every playoffs, there's that one random dude that nobody thought was going to do anything.
that
That's
he
That's
does
what I love
huge.
about playoffs, though.
he does make a fair point there. But bottom line is we're all split on this series. But
Yeah.
I have a feeling this next series is going to be a bit tougher to pick because it was tough for me. Dallas and Vegas.
Yeah, that's just
Vegas
yeah.
comes in as the defending Stanley Cup champion,
Mhm.
and Dallas comes in as, in my opinion,
Dogs.
a very, very complete team. They literally have everything. They have shooters, they have defensemen, they have goaltending, they have a great coach, they have great fans, they have everything they want. If Dallas doesn't get it done this year, when? Jason Robertson, how long can he keep up this pace? You know, Rope Hintz, Tyler Sagan, Jamie Benn, everybody on that team can bring it at any time.
Yeah,
Vegas,
Hintz,
obviously, you have. I know Mark Stoner's been hurt. Jack Eichel's been hurt. I get it. Vegas's health is a bit of a question mark. But even still, Vegas is the defending Stanley Cup champion, so you can't count them out. But at the end of the day, as tough as it was for me to pick, Dallas in 7. This series is going the distance. Give me the Dallas Stars in 7 games. Neil, go ahead, boy. You're first this
Oh,
time.
we're going the other way now.
Yeah, now we're going the other way.
Oh, great. Okay. Okay. First of all, saying that Pete DeBoer is a great it. I'm just saying.
no. Do not say anything good about Pete DeBoer.
No.
As a Devils fan, you're really stretching it there, buddy.
Hey,
Anyway.
I'm just saying he's done a good job.
No.
He hasn't won anything. So there. Anyway, so when I look at this series, this is a really, really great series. And I'm always a big fan of storylines. The storyline going into this is the fact that Dallas is going into the series pissed off about what happened last year in the conference finals against Vegas.
Yep.
Pissed off. They're out for blood. Like, no joke, they may treat this like their Stanley Cup in a jokingly way because they want to beat Vegas. They want to dominate them. Vegas, despite them being a bit banged up going into it, this is still the Vegas Golden Knights, a team that has found a way every year to still get things done, to still find a way to win. You got to give them credit. You have
They're
to
going to
give
say
them
circumvent the cap.
That too.
That's part of it. No, finding ways to win. Are you kidding? Circumventing the cap is finding a way to win, whether it's legal or not.
Lightning know it.
Yeah, that's what we do. But I think overall, I think Dallas is going to do it, and I'm going to go with Dallas as well in 7 games. I'm going to go. It's going to be a fun series. It's going to go the distance.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I'm with you, Neil.
Also, fuck
Heath, what about you?
I have Vegas in 5.
What?
And the only reason I'm going to say that is because they circumvented the cap. All their players are healthy, and this is exactly what they did last year.
Wayne Gretzky's going
Being who lives in Vegas, the hype is there. The players are all healthy. They look great in practice. I don't. Dallas's goaltending this year with Ottinger, he's been good at times. He's been shaky at other times. Hill and Thompson have been consistent for the most part. Thompson has had up and down, but he's the backup. So you have two capable starters there. I really, as hard as that was, it's gonna go 5. I think that, but I think it's gonna be Vegas in 5.
Wow. Both from Heath right there, but I like that. Kyle.
Yeah, I think you can flip flop back and forth. It's a good series. I bet you Dallas probably didn't want Vegas to start anyway, but I mean, hey, whatever. They get the chance to knock them off from the West Final last year. I think the problem for Vegas they might find throughout this series is that barn in Dallas is so hard to win in. So I think that's going to be a lingering issue. Other than that, I'll kind of echo what Neil said too a little bit as well. I think it goes down the wire, but I like it in 6 or 7. I'll just say 6 for Dallas though.
Okay.
You know, I just think they're just more well-rounded, and how healthy is these guys coming off the IR? I don't know. I have no doubt they'll make it a series for sure, and I wouldn't be surprised if they pull it out, but I'll just say Dallas in 6.
Dallas in 6. All right. Jeffrey?
I'm going to echo a lot of what Kyle said. I mean, if you're Dallas and you've had the year you've had, you cannot be happy to be playing Vegas in the first round. Like, they got to be looking at that being like, how did that happen? Look, so I've spent some time the last couple of days. I'm sure we all like Google what people think, predictions, experts, and all that. So many people have Dallas coming out of the West. It's hard to pick against them here. Vegas, also, like what Kyle said, they're not 100% healthy. It just doesn't seem like it's their year. Would it be the upset of all upsets if they won the series? No, but I'm taking Dallas in 6.
Dallas in 6. Kim?
All right, yeah. But I mean, Dallas second, 1 point behind the Rangers for that President's Trophy. I mean, they've really had a year. You know, there's, like you said, the stars breaking out. With Vegas on the other side, again, it's the injuries, and even like with their goaltending, Aiden, you know, Thompson's been up and down. Hill has been hurt for a large portion of the season. I really don't know how fresh he is going in to this series, and you know, if he's your starter. He even coming back from injury, he didn't do too great. But still, I mean, it's still going to be a back and forth series. Obviously, the Stone somehow with that ruptured spleen coming back.
Right.
It's just absolutely nuts to me. I really think this is going to be, like you said, like a hard fought series, and I'm going. As much as I hate Pete DeBoer, Dallas in 7.
All right, so Dallas in 7. All right. So pretty much everybody but Heath agrees with everybody on Dallas. I don't get it. I mean, I just don't trust Vegas health-wise. I mean, I get it. Their goaltending's been more consistent, Heath. You're right about that. But even still, Dallas has, to me, a lot more firepower offensively than Vegas does, at least in my personal opinion. And I think that's going to be the key factor in this series. So that's why I have Dallas in 7 personally. Now, my bottom line cohorts say, well, let's see. Andrew says Vegas in 7. So at least he's giving Dallas a little bit of respect there. And what does Austin say?
I already know what Austin's answer is.
Dallas in 6. What do you think he was going to say?
He was going to go with his team.
No, he went with Dallas in 6.
Good for him.
Shocking, ain't it?
A little unbiased. I like it.
I was going to say that.
Nashville in 4.
No, God, no. If he did that, anyway.
The chase for the Stanley Cup is on, and if you're looking to light the lamp, nothing beats the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. From playoff beards all the way to the hoisting of the cup, DraftKings has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. I see that the Boston Bruins are at plus 1,100 right now to win the cup. I picked them before the season started, so I will ride with the Boston Bruins, but that's just me. What you want to bet on is up to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's code THPN only at DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/hockey terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gambling resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2024, all rights reserved.
Crazy.
Last series in the West. Jets and Avs.
Ooh.
Like this is tough. This is tough. No, listen. Colorado's been struggling a little bit coming into the playoffs. The Jets have been one of the more surprised teams this year. This series is really tough. But at the end of the day, Colorado's been there and done that before. I really don't trust the Jets right now. Even though I will say this is going 6 games, and I will take the Avs.
Huh, okay.
Neil?
This is, I guess, I was talking to Kyle about this earlier today. This is a really hard series to go with because you really could go either way. But I'll kind of quote what Kyle told me earlier today. The thing that you're going to want to take a look at is how do the Jets respond to the rush play that Colorado can bring? I mean, they just come at you in waves. If the Jets can slow the series down and slow the games down, they give themselves a great chance to win this series. I just don't see that happening. I know that Connor Hellebuck is on that other end for Winnipeg. And yeah, Alexander Georgiev hasn't been great, but Colorado proved a couple of years ago they didn't need great goaltending to win a cup. They just needed good enough. And Darcy Kemper was good enough, and they won a cup. And I can expect Georgiev to be good enough. And I think that, and I know that the old saying goes, you can't outscore your problems. In this series, I think the Avs can. And with that being said, I'm going to go with the Avs in 7. In this
7, okay.
I will say, though, I'm excited for the Winnipeg whiteout. That's what I'm excited about.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's going to be really, really hype. Heath?
Yeah. I have Jets in 7, and I just purely have that on the goaltending. You got the 2nd overall save percentage versus the 41st overall save percentage in the NHL. Georgiev is an 8.97 currently, and Connor Hellebuck has a 9.21. So I don't see if Connor Hellebuck plays like he has all year and Georgiev plays like he has all year, it's going to go 7 just because of the offensive firepower at both ends. But I think you got to give it to the goaltending edge there. So I'm gonna go Winnipeg in 7.
Nice.
All right, Jets in 7. I like it. Kyle?
Well, I mean, Neil did copy everything I was going to say, so
I'm sorry. That was a good analysis, Kyle. And Kyle, I did give you credit.
Thank you.
No, he did.
Yeah, no, real quick. I think just the off the rush. I mean, the Avs are just dogs with this, like McKinnon and Makar. Like, just the Jets will be in trouble if they continue to turn over the pucks. These guys, and if they create a lot of chances, it could be a long series for the Jets. Other way around, though, I mean, again, if they slow it down, they play the perimeter against the Avs. They take advantage of these power plays as well too. I mean, it'll be in the Jets' favor. And again, you can really go back and forth on this one here. I like it in 7 games. I don't like the fact that the Jets have to be at home in game 7, actually. I think if they were in Colorado, I like the Jets' chances maybe a little bit more. I just think it's, you're in a Canadian market. It's a tough crowd. They're going to get at you a little bit here, against a cup champion from a couple of years ago. I like the Avs in 7.
Avs in 7. All right. It's interesting you bring that up. You don't like the Jets are home in a game 7 potentially. That's an interesting point that you bring up because Canadian fans can go a bit hard on your team. So you make a good point there, Kyle. Jeffrey?
I like Winnipeg in 7. I think it's a great series. I think this actually might be the hardest series of them all to pick. I just think you could really argue either team either way. I think Rick Bowness is a completely underrated coach in Winnipeg. He doesn't get a lot of compliments as he should. This is a very tough series to pick. I'm gonna go Winnipeg in 7.
All right, Kim.
Sorry. I'm completely agreeing with Heath over here. It's goaltending. I do not trust Georgiev at all. I
It's
have
fair.
no faith in Georgiev for the Avs to hold them in there, and it's firepower on both sides, and it's gonna if it is with the Avs, I mean it's gonna be outscoring their opponent, and Hellebuck is gonna keep it strong for the Jets. I really do believe that it's gonna come down to those two, and I'm going Jets in 6.
Jets in 6. All right. Well, Kim, I think Austin agrees with you on Winnipeg, except he really doesn't trust Alex Georgiev because he has the Jets in 5.
Oh,
Oh.
my God.
Oh.
Ooh.
He has them in 5. You heard that correctly. And as for Andrew, he has the Jets in 7.
Okay.
Okay.
So at least he's a bit more reasonable.
I'm genuinely nervous about Austin's pick in the Eastern Conference. Like, I'm genuinely scared.
We're getting there.
Well, we'll find out. We're gonna get there, and we're gonna kick things off with our first series, Panthers, Tampa. Another one I was back and forth on. I really, really was because
Florida men fight it out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Florida coming off a trip to the Stanley Cup final last year against Vegas in one of the more surprising ways as a wild card team, knocking out the Boston Bruins in the first round, 7 games. So, hey, give Florida credit. Matthew Tkachuk has stepped up his game. I love Florida's goaltending this year. I know it's been a little bit off recently, but it's been really, really good. Sam Reinhart is having a career year for Florida. Nobody is stopping that man. And as far as Tampa's concerned, look, when it comes to Tampa Bay in the playoffs, they're different. I mean,
them.
You really exactly, Kim. Screw them. Stamkos is still there. Stamkos is still there. Kucherov just hit 100 assists this year. Congrats to him. That is an amazing feat. I don't think anybody's ever gonna touch that.
That's my Hart Trophy guy right there.
Yeah, and I know Vasilevsky is. I know he's been hurt for the first half of the year, but he's kind of stepped up his game. I still trust Vasilevsky in any big game. But with that said, I like the Panthers in 7. Panthers in 7. Yeah. Look, I get it. Tampa's a different animal, but so is Florida. Florida, to me, is on a mission this year. They are out to prove to the world that they belong here for a reason. So give me Florida in 7. Neil?
Well, God knows I was back and forth about this one for quite some time because I really, really love this series. I think if you're Florida, this might have been the worst case scenario in terms of first round matchup because it's the ultimate boogeyman, and that is in the Tampa Bay Lightning, who, this is not necessarily the same Tampa Bay Lightning that we've seen in years past, but this is the last run, in my opinion, for Tampa.
I agree.
I don't know what happens to Stamkos moving forward. I don't know what's going to happen with this core, but at some point, I got to accept that their time is done. But it's going to be a fun series regardless. I think it's really going to go back and forth. It's going to go to 7 games, in my opinion. And as much as I would love to see an upset, because I think Tampa winning in an upset would be kind of fun, I'm going to go with Florida in 7 games. That's the way that I look at it. I think the one question that I have, though, and this is not a knock on any Florida fans whatsoever, is this. Will they actually sell out these playoff games? That is my question.
I
hope so. Or are there going to be empty seats like we've seen in the past? That's
bring out the rats.
Yeah, you gotta hope they sell that out. This is such a hard.
Remind me of the Tampa Bay Rays so much.
Yeah, they do. They really do.
The Tampa Bay Rays were in the World Series in 2008. Couldn't even sell out either game that they played in Tampa.
That's a damn shame.
That's brutal.
Go ahead, Heath.
But this series is so tough. I mean, Florida arguably has 2 of the top goaltenders in the league in their tandem. It's hard not to look at that. Vasilevsky has the experience, winning 2 cups. I mean, you look at Stamkos, Kucherov, and Hedman. I don't know how you go against that.
Braden Point too. I forgot to mention
Braden
him
Point
before.
too. I mean, I've as much as it kills me to say it, I've got Tampa in 7. And that this is probably one of the hardest series to pick because Tampa isn't that team that's coming in first place anymore. They're coming in as a wild card. It's just, it has a different feel to it. But if Tampa were to pull off this upset, it's going to be scary for the rest of the Eastern Conference, because that'll give them the confidence to keep pushing forward.
You want a bold take from me? If Tampa Bay pulls off this upset, I think they're going straight to the final. That's how scary they are in the playoffs. If they beat Florida, nobody is stopping them. Nobody. Kyle?
I've heard that earlier.
Well, that's kind of funny that you mentioned that, because I have Tampa Bay in the Stanley Cup final this year.
Oh, there you go.
So
that's what I was saying. I may have heard this earlier today.
I want to echo what Kim said before we started this, the screw them. That's exactly what this is. It's the Lightning basically looking at all of us going, fuck all you, fuck this, and Lightning in 7 games. Like, it's going to be one last run, the one last fuck you. We've won twice already in the last 5 years, whatever it was. Yeah. That's exactly what this is going to be. I have no doubt this will still be a really tough series to win, but if you're able to get through this one, who says they couldn't go all the way? We'll see how they hold up, though. I mean, with Hedman and Vasilevsky and all that, I mean, it's a lot, it's a couple of names you have on there. You hope they hold up and nothing serious happens, but I got Tampa in 7.
All right, fair enough. Jeffrey?
I've got Florida. I think it's also it's a very tough series to pick. I would be leery of Tampa as a Ranger fan. I did not want them to get Tampa. I wanted them to not play the top wild card because I did not want anything to do with Tampa in the first round. So I understand Florida's dilemma at the moment, and I'm glad it's theirs and not the Rangers. But I just think Florida is too good. This is also a series, if you look historically, when these two teams play, home ice does not matter a lot. Now, maybe that's because they don't sell out the building. We could put 1 and 1 together. But I just think at the end of the day, Florida is just a better team. I'm going Florida in 6.
Florida in 6. All right.
Yep.
Kim?
Yeah, that's the only thing that makes, I feel like this makes the series hard, is because Tampa is just like a different beast in playoffs, and they seriously bring up the FU when it comes to playoff hockey. But I'm just reiterating, honestly, a lot of what you guys are saying. I mean, what Jeffrey just said. I'm picking Panthers as well. I mean, like he said, Kachuk stepped up his game, and just Bobrovsky, like, it's just, I feel like a big key factor in this is how Bobrovsky is going to play, because there's some where it's just like, damn, that's Sergei Bobrovsky. And then it's like, damn, Bobrovsky, where are you? So he can be a little inconsistent in my opinion, but I mean, they've been a fire team depth wise. And, it really, the hardest thing with the Lightning is just their cherry picking plays. I mean, that's how they can get deep into the zones, get a lot on the net. But I feel like the Panthers are faster. This is an older Lightning team, and I'm gonna say Panthers in 6.
All right. I like all of our picks here. My co-host Austin says Tampa in 6, and Andrew says Tampa in 7. So reasonable picks there from both of my bottom line cohorts. All right, I think we all know where we're leaning in this series, but I could be wrong. Boston and Toronto. I'm literally just I'm gonna come out and say it. Boston in 7. This series is going 7. I'm giving Toronto a fair shake here. Boston, to me, they're also coming into these playoffs pissed off. I know they're not playing Florida, but something tells me that Boston is going to come out, and they're going to come out swinging against this Toronto team from the jump. Give me Boston in 7 over Toronto. Go ahead, Neil.
I was wondering if you're going to. Well, I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to disagree with you.
What?
And I'll tell you why. No, let me just hear me out.
Oh, boy.
It's going to be a good series, right? Like, we all can agree it's going to be a good series.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
For the Leafs.
What a statement, Neil.
For the Leafs. I know. Bombshell statement right there. For the Leafs, it's I like to use this term a lot. For the Leafs, it's the ultimate boogeyman. They get to play the Bruins again in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And the Leafs finally got over the hump of, getting past the first round. It took every little bit out of them to do so, but nonetheless, they did it.
Yeah.
And so now that they understand somehow, finally, what it takes to win a series, I think it's fair to say that you can give Toronto, a fair idea. And, you look at Boston and you say, how many more years of this do the Bruins have? Especially, you look at the fact that Ullmark and Swayman, that tandem's not going to be there next year. Ullmark's gone. We just call it like it is. And you just don't know how many more years left does Brad Marchand have left and things like that. So, with all of that being said, give me the Bruins in 6.
Wow. You absolutely suck. You suck,
yes,
Neil.
Jimmy, I disagree with you. It's not going to go 7. It's going to go 6. Because I'll tell you why. Ilya Samsonov sucks.
Yep.
He ain't that good. Sorry to call it like it is. Number 2, the Leafs have not shown me much of anything. Yeah, Austin Matthews had 69 goals. Nice. But after that, like, I'm sorry, Mitch Marner disappears like a ghost every year, does not show up ever. William Nylander, I think, does find ways to step up, but not enough to give me the full confidence. John Tavares,
3 points in the last 11 games.
Inconsistent, man.
Wonderful.
Willie Nylander is just so freaking inconsistent.
Yes,
if
he is.
Nylander was on his own team as his own guy, it would be a lot different story. That's just the way I feel personally. Anyway, John Tavares, old as dirt, not doing anything, not going to do anything. Morgan Riley is not a defensive defenseman. You're asking Mark Giordano to play top 4 minutes. That is a bad idea. Their whole defensive core is a major question mark going into the playoffs. And Sheldon Keefe, I'm sorry, is not that good of a coach, regardless of what you may say.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is, see what I did there, Jimmy? The bottom line is the fact that I am not going to trust the Leafs until they prove to me that they can beat the Bruins and they can go beyond the first round again. Show me something. Because right now, they are a first round exit in my eyes. Give me the Bruins in 6.
All I know is you are such a troll, my guy. That was the ultimate troll job. You know what? I love it.
Points for that.
That was brilliant. That was brilliant.
I wouldn't have
job
done
well
it
done.
If you said like Bruins in 6, I wouldn't have done it because I would have been like, well, I can't
Fair point. Go ahead, Heath.
The Toronto Maple Leafs have never made it to a third round of a playoff ever. So
nope.
just put that out there. As much as I want to say it's going to go 6 or 7, I think it's going to go 5, and I think it's going to be Boston.
Wow.
5.
Toronto's goaltending is a major issue. Toronto also has a bunch of individuals trying to play a team sport, and that doesn't translate to playoff hockey. We've seen that the last few years. They crumbled a few years ago in the first round after having like a 3-1 lead. Stars got greedy and tried to make plays they couldn't make in the playoffs. It's a tighter game in the playoffs. Matthews can't dangle 6 people, go around and decide to shoot into an empty net pretty much. He's not going to be able to do that. He had 69 goals, great in the regular season. He hasn't shown it in the playoffs.
Nice.
He just hasn't shown it in the playoffs. And I think Jeremy Swayman is the guy there now, and I think he's going to absolutely he's going to prove that he's the number 1 in this series, and it's going to be Boston in 5.
Going to make mad money.
Wow, 5 games. If that happens, Steve Dangle's going to be crying at his.
And it's going to be the best video ever.
What he's going to do.
It will be.
Jimmy, he's going to be crying regardless, my guy.
I can already.
He already did
That's
sing
true.
the matchup.
I can already picture his future video. He'll be like, "Hello, darkness, my old friend." Kyle, go ahead, man.
50 minutes.
I won't spend long. I'll echo Heath and actually I'll echo Heath literally, and I have the Bruins in 5 as well.
Oh my
pretty much
goodness!
Everything that Neil said. I don't trust their goaltending. I don't trust their defense. I don't trust Marner unless he decides one day to magically crash the net instead of walking around the perimeter. That's up to him. Other than that, I'm just going to echo what Neil and Heath go Bruins in 5.
Fair enough, Jeffrey.
I'm going to go Bruins in 6, but the one thing that would concern me with the Bruins, it could go either way, I guess, is last year still in their head? Like, do you grip the sticks a little bit tighter? Is it hard to get past that? I don't know. Boston's a better team. Boston will win the series, I would say. But I would be concerned if there was a concern. It's just that mental thing. Like, Boston could be up 3-1 in the series, and, what's in the back of your head? What are you thinking of? It's hard to forget what happened last year. But I do like the Bruins in this. I like them in 6.
Kim?
I mean, you guys hit it. I mean, Heath hit my point that I was waiting for, and that's just individuals trying to play a team sport. My God, that was just like a really big thing. And again, it's Samsonov, and no, and you're versus Sway versus Samsonov, it's Sway Day every day for me. And plus, you like two starting goaltenders. I feel like right there. Although I feel like Swayman's your better starter. I mean, they got Matthews. Well, they got Pasta. You know what I mean? Like it's. I feel like with these two teams, the Bruins don't have Bergeron anymore. That's a little of a minus in my opinion for the Bruins. But again, it's just maybe they're riding the coattails a little bit of Matthews a little bit, and I gave a little bit more credit to the Leafs. I gave Bruins in 6 because you're talking about last year maybe things in their head. Leafs can be a little finicky, I mean they can have their times where they shine and they get a lot of goals on the board, and just protect that. But I feel like I do give more credit. I'm going to say Bruins in 6 with Jeffrey.
Fair enough. And Heath and Cup. I'm sorry, I'll let you go in just 1 second. I apologize, but Heath and Kyle, Andrew agrees with the both of you. He also has the Bruins in 5. And, Austin has Toronto in 7.
God damn it.
He thinks it's the year, huh?
Apparently.
Every year.
Can I say one thing before we wrap this series
Go ahead.
up?
Go ahead.
So, Jeffrey just mentioned about, is last year still in the Bruins' head? I will counteract that with, is the last 50-plus years of failure in Leafs history in the heads of every person in that freaking locker room in Toronto? That's my point.
Oh, my God.
I'm an Islanders fan, and I'm not even slam dunking them like this. Jesus.
Well, speaking of the Islanders, let's go to them next. Because they're playing the Carolina Hurricanes. This series is going to be fun. I'm actually really looking forward to this series. Look, Carolina has not gone away all year. They've been fighting for the Rangers for the top spot in the league in the Metro and for the President's Trophy. It came down to the final 2 games. Look, give Carolina a lot of credit. They are certainly a much better team, in my opinion, this year than they were last year. But this Islanders team just will not die, man. They won't die. I mean, Kim, correct me if I'm wrong. They've won 8 straight or 7 straight going to the playoffs.
So no, we won 6 straight. We had an OT I'm screwing up my own freaking team here. I think we had 7 straight. We dropped the OT loss to the Rangers and then just won our last one against and then we just so was it 6 and then we dropped 1 and then we had 2. We had Devils and then we won against the Penguins.
6 in a row. You got a point against the Rangers.
6 in a row, point against the Rangers and then 1 Devils and then Penguins.
Yes.
So yes, we were 8-0 and 1 and we basically won 9 of our last 10.
Okay, fair enough. That's exactly where I wanted to go because listen, this series was another tough one for me to pick, but
10, excuse me.
I'm actually going to be a little bit bold here. This series is going 6 games.
Okay.
I hate to do it, but I'm taking the Islanders. I'm taking the Islanders in this series. Something tells me that this Islanders team, this Islanders team is hot at the right time, and something tells me that they can beat anybody. Do I trust their goaltending more than I trust Carolina's? I do. I get Freddie Anderson has been red hot ever since coming back from his blood clot issue. And by the way, I'm glad that he's doing much better in all seriousness. All the best to Freddie Anderson.
All the love.
But regardless,
Danish delight.
Samsonov? I'm sorry, not Samsonov. Varlamov. He has been smoking hot lately. And him and Sorokin are a really good tandem, man. I trust them more than I trust Carolina's goaltending. Kachekov's been great. Anderson's been great. But there's just something about this Islanders team that they just have that. They have the juju going. They're hot. I hate to do it, but I like them in 6. Neil?
there's something about having a Russian goalie tandem that just makes everything work, doesn't it? I'm just saying. Also, we got to give credit where credit is due to Lou Lamoriello that he fired Lane Lambert, and it was needed. Believe me, it was needed. And Kim can harp on this.
Too late, in my opinion, but keep going.
No. You're right. You're right.
No, but he did it. But it should have happened 2 months earlier.
Yes.
It should have happened in November after that horrible skid.
He brings in Patrick Waugh, who prior to him, coming to the Islanders, had done a really good job in Quebec with the Remparts. Like, honestly, I think he learned a lot from his first go around as a head coach. And I think he really brought in a system that worked out really well, that works really well with the Islanders and the way that they play. And kind of similar to Tampa, the last couple of years, when the Islanders get in the playoffs, things change. Now, I know last year was hard, especially against Carolina, but there's a different vibe when the Islanders are in the playoffs in general. There's just a different vibe overall. I would have loved to have seen Ranger Islanders round 1. That would have been awesome, in my opinion.
No.
As someone who's not a fan of either team.
I'm only kidding. It would have been a fun series. I agree.
You just scared me of a vibe, baby.
I think the goaltending. I think if you want to go with the goaltending, I think would lean more towards the Islanders than it would with the Hurricanes.
Respect.
But as much as I love Kim, I don't believe in the Islanders as much as other people do. It's not because I'm a Devils fan or that nothing to do with that. It's simply that
Listen, I'm not taking any of this to heart.
I know.
I'm not taking any of this.
It is the goal scoring I'm worried about drying up.
Yeah.
It's just what my concern is. Guys like Anders, not necessarily Kyle Palmieri, but like Anders Lee, Brock Nelson, I'm worried about them not carrying the load, but like pulling their weight in terms of scoring.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bo Horvat's going to do fine. I'm not worried about him. I just think that Carolina, they are a better team. They added at the deadline. They got Jay Gensel. This is a very, very good team in all phases. And if Freddie Anderson is playing the way he's been playing, it's just going to make life miserable for the Islanders. So I'm going to go with the Hurricanes. I'm going to go with the Hurricanes in 5.
5?
That's going to be I'm going to go with 5. Yeah.
Damn.
So is that a hot take? Sure. But honestly, Kim, I would love to be wrong because I freaking hate the Hurricanes. So believe me.
No, you know what?
As do I, but who do I hate?
Now the Surge Cast is going to jump in here and roast me again. Tad's going to come in here and annihilate me.
Canes and 5. Wow. All right. Heath, go ahead.
I'm going to piggyback on what Neil said. I've got Canes in 5.
Goodness.
Varlamov hasn't played a playoff game since 2020, 2021. That's a long time to be out of the playoffs. Everyone knows that playoffs is a completely different beast than regular season. In any level of hockey, that's just how that works. And whenever a goalie changes in a series happens, it's not very good for that team that changes the goalie after it's usually around 3 games of losing. That's why I said in 5. I just, as much as I want to see the New York Islanders succeed in this series, I don't see it happening. I see them showing up for game 1 maybe and then sputtering out. That's just, I think that Carolina's goaltending is just too good, to be honest. Frederik Andersen, when he's on, he's one of the top 3 goaltenders in the league. I think he get like to the fastest to 500 wins or something like that, close to it, this season. So, I mean, he was injured for half the year. So, I mean, he's played really well when he's been healthy, and he's healthy. So I've got Carolina in 5, but honestly, I could see it going 7.
Wow. All right. Kyle?
Yeah, I got Carolina in 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
goddamn.
No, I mean,
I'm not even trying to be mean about it, Kim. We're just trying
The disrespect.
I like the Islanders goaltending a lot more. I mean, if Sorokin's having an off night, I think you throw in Varlamov in there, and I think he can tend it fine. I think just the biggest issue for the Islanders is there's just so many guys you have to stop on Carolina with the acquisition of Jake Gensel, with not many people recognizing Seth Jarvis and what he's been able to do this year. Yeah. There's just so many weapons on that team, and they could just suck the life out of you. I wouldn't be surprised if the Islanders do make it a series, but I think it's just going to be too much at the end of the day, and they might crumble from it. So I got Canes in 5.
Jeffrey?
So I think, it's weird. I saw when this series was announced, and I looked on DraftKings, Carolina is a massive favorite. And I was surprised that, and I wasn't surprised they were a favorite, but I was surprised at how much. If you look at Patrick Waugh, I believe the vast, I'm sure you'll know him, but the vast majority of the games they've played, they've let up 2 goals or less. My pick in this series is Carolina. I think Carolina is actually the best team in the East. I think they'll actually beat the Rangers in round 2 if they match up, even though that'll kill me to say, because I think Carolina is great. But, however, I think the Islanders are getting a little bit of disrespect here, not from you guys, just in general, because I think they're good and they can make it a series. Will they make it a series and win? Probably not. I'm going to go Carolina in 6.
Okay, at least Jeffrey's being a little respectful.
Okay,
Kim,
Jimmy, Austin.
Go ahead, Neil.
Austin went Nashville in 4. So, I don't know what you want us to say.
The window.
That's fair. Oh, Kim, you're the Islander fan in the room. What say you?
Canes in 4.
Here we go. Okay.
Canes in 4. Canes in 4.
Shut up, Kyle.
With goaltending, like you said, this is going to be battle the goalies. I mean, absolute respects to Anderson. Varlamov, as soon as Waugh came in, you talked about 2020 and 2021 bubble Varlamov. That's who I'm seeing right now with him. Mm-hmm. I have not seen him pop off like this since then. And he has been on his game. He has been laser focused. His positioning has been beautiful. And he is absolutely stolen games for us. He's kept us in there hard. He has been wonderful. And then, of course, you got our boy Sorokin as a backup. Our season series throughout the year, we actually split with the Canes this year. And if this is something that's been hard for the Islanders, it's been playing the Canes. Usually, we're definitely losers in the series. This year was a split, and these games were not really blowouts. I think there was one game, I think Carolina won 4-1. Otherwise, it was 5-4, 4-3. It was very close games back and forth between these two. Kyle Palmieri is another hot hand that people are not expecting from the New York Islanders. He's been on fire lately, Kyle Palmieri.
Yeah.
There's been connections that, and something I'm interested to see is younger talent. Kyle McLean here is taking that Cizikas spot on the 4th line. We have Casey Cizikas on the front. And, what's great about him is his grit to dig the puck out. Oh, my God.
English is hard. I get it. Go ahead.
Dig the puck out for Barzal and Horvat. And you get them to those two, and they can make magic happen. We've seen that OT winner against in Dallas. I mean, Barzal on the ice for a minute and a half, something insane like that. And got that winner for us. When it comes to the biggest issue with my Islanders is goal, with goal scoring drying up, inconsistency as the biggest word with my team, and discipline. 4th best power play, I think, was our 2nd best power play, something like that. For the Canes?
Somewhere in the top 5, yeah.
3rd?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
3rd, okay, thank you.
I believe it's 3rd.
Okay. But Islanders have not been good special teams wise. And Neil,
no.
Well, we talk about that.
Oh no, we're going back to this now. Oh god.
She's never letting that go till the day we all die.
We weren't even fighting.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But special teams wise, the Islanders have to play smart, and God, do they love giving us penalties, and so or not giving us penalties. But going on, Islanders have to stay disciplined and stay out of the box. They have to keep this 5-on-5 if we have fighting chances in this game. Get pucks on the net early, and just get those goals in, because they're gonna come back. Any chance we give the Canes a power play, I'm gonna say it's a goal. That's the big scary thing to me.
I'm gonna correct my statement there. They are 2nd, 26.9%.
Oh, they are 2nd. Okay, I was I think they're
the Rangers are 3rd.
Okay.
So,
Oh, okay. Thank
That
you.
makes
Thank
sense.
you.
Yeah. So
I had to look that up to check myself.
Yeah.
No, you're good, Heath.
But it's, I'm just interesting. This is not the same Islanders team as last year at all. This is a whole new series, against one another. I'm excited to see how it clashes. I think we have a better chance against the Canes this year with Patrick Waugh's system, with him inspiring Varley. I mean, he said he had goosebumps when Waugh came to this team. And he's shown, why he made Patrick Waugh a Jack Adams winner.
Yeah.
This team can get very hot and it can get very cold. We've seen their streaks. But they're going in very, very hot into these playoffs. They have some confidence that have grown. I'm curious. I don't know if we will. It's there. We do have Ruslan Ishakov on the line. He's there. He's so I don't know if we would see anything from him. He had some good plays the other night against the Penguins. I don't know if we're really going to see him play, but I understand inconsistencies with things like Lee and Nelson. Nelson finally started to put in goals again, which made me a little bit more confident going in.
Yeah.
Because he was one of those ones who was like, where's the scoring? But we do have an inconsistency. We don't know if Pajot is starting. So that's a big thing. But my Islanders every day, 7.
7 games. No, you know what?
Seems about right.
I can see it going 7 games. I can see it going 7 games. But
Yo, the
I
suspense
think,
was killing me. I just want to say the suspense of that was killing me.
Sorry.
Really?
I mean, I'm
like Kim, low-key, I thought you were getting like mad emotional. I was like, oh wait, where are we
No,
going?
no.
I was like, is she about to cry? Like, what's going
no.
on?
I'm just coughing and it's like making me die. But in March, when people, coming at me on the Islanders, I always said the Islanders will make it. Here we are today. Moneypuck.com. I'd say, I joked about the 4%, and
Or DraftKings, but whatever.
I looked at Money Puck for the playoffs. We're talking about.
oh wow,
the
wow.
odds. They gave us 15% odds to make it to the second round. You know what? I will take it every goddamn day to be the underdogs in a series, because when we were huge underdogs, we made the Eastern Conference Final. You never know with us. So you know what? Islanders 7.
I'm pretty sure DraftKings had better odds than that, but I digress. Go ahead, Neil.
And speaking of DraftKings, if you want to pick an underdog for these playoffs, use our promo code THPN when you sign up. Bet $5 to get $200 instantly in free bets with promo code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the Hockey Podcast Network.
I love
Thank
you,
you
Neil.
for that, Neil. Much appreciated. I have good news for
I want
Neil,
money.
Keith, and Kyle.
What?
Both Andrew and Austin agree with the 3 of you.
Sick.
They are taking the Canes in 5.
Lovely.
Cool.
I want to be
All
wrong
right.
so badly. I really do.
All right.
I want to be wrong.
Well, let's
I
get to
want
the
you
series
all
that I am
right.
dreading the most.
Kyle,
honestly,
buckle in, buddy. Here
No,
we go.
honest to God, I'm dreading this series.
There you
Rangers
are.
and Caps. Because,
Really?
listen, I really don't know what to expect. I really don't. Because they split the season series with the Caps. They went 2-2. All right? And it didn't start off great. Washington had trouble scoring at the beginning of the year. They were one of the worst scoring teams in the NHL to start. And when they played them the first time, Charlie Lindgren was a stone wall. Didn't look great for the Rangers. Didn't look great. But they split the series. At least they didn't get swept. I'll give them that. So going into this series in particular, I'm not going to lie to you. All seriousness, I'm nervous. I'm really nervous. Because I know that Ovi is going to do his thing. Alex Ovechkin is Alex Ovechkin. There's no stopping him in the playoffs. Charlie Lindgren is going to be a big problem. He has been awesome for the Capitals in goal. He has been awesome. I'm very nervous to face him, and I'm also very nervous about their offense, meaning the Rangers' offense. Because it seems like every single damn year, the only thing that's consistent in the playoffs is their goaltending. And that's it. Nothing else. I saw it last year against the Devils. I saw it a few years back. I keep seeing inconsistencies with this team in the postseason every single freaking season. And that's why it's been 30 freaking years since they've won a cup. But with that being said, be quiet, Neil. Anyway, with all that being said,
No sympathy for me.
I am still riding with the Rangers in 6. I expect them to win this series because, let me tell you something. If they don't, you might as well just not show up next season. Just pack your bags, go home, don't even play next season because it will be an embarrassment if you lose to this Capitals team. I get it, they've been playing a lot better. I get it. But even still, the way the Capitals started out this year, nobody thought they were going to be in the playoffs.
No.
Did anybody think that? So, listen.
No.
I predicted them not to make it.
Exactly my point. So look, I still expect the Rangers to win this series. I'm picking them in 6 games. But it's going to come down to whether or not they can stop with the freaking passes and actually shoot. If they can do that, I'll be fine.
You sound like an Islanders fan.
Really similar, isn't it?
It's that,
Oh,
it's that
oh,
New
oh,
York
and-
vibe. That's what's really.
And by the way, one more thing I'm looking at. Artemi Panarin, I'm calling you out. You have been so inconsistent the past couple years in the playoffs. This regular season, you were an absolute monster. Almost nobody was stopping you. If I see that Artemi Panarin this postseason, this Ranger team's going to be a problem. I'm telling you right now. Artemi Panarin, if he shows up, if Zibby shows up, if Kreider shows up, if Fox shows up, if the big guys can do their thing, the Rangers are going to be a problem. But I have to see it for myself. Rangers in 6, but I'm telling you right now, I do not feel good about it at all. Neil?
Okay. Damn, I feel like running through a brick wall after hearing that.
It was really good speech.
Yeah, it was good. Boy, that minus 37 goal differential really hit different, doesn't it? It really hit different.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whatever.
Just, I mean, again, the battle of the mid for that last wild card spot. No offense, Kim.
I was about
but
to say.
you were top 3.
Listen,
you were top
we were
three.
third in the Metro.
You were top 3. But you were involved at some point. It's really interesting because this should be a series that the Rangers should not only win, but should dominate. Let's call it like it is. Like, the Capitals are going into this with the same mentality that Tampa has against Florida. Fuck it. Fuck the minus 37 goal differential. We don't give a shit. Also, this is probably it for Ovi. This might be the last time we see him in the playoffs, at least with the Capitals. Unless
I think he said after his current contract is up, he's retiring.
That's what I'm saying. So this might be it for him. And what's really interesting is that a couple weeks ago, might have been a month ago, Tom Wilson, I forgot I think he lost a family member or something along those lines, or something happened. They won a game. He went in the locker room and said, "It's all good, boys. We're making the playoffs." This was like a month and change ago. And it happened. They're here. And so there's a lot of pressure on the Rangers. There is no pressure on the Capitals. None whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the
Agreed.
underdog.
And the Rangers, Jimmy, you bring up a lot of good points. Panarin was a ghost last year against the Devils in the first round. Zibanejad, gone. Kreider, after the first 2 games, gone. Fox did nothing. Jacob Trouba, all he did was knock out Timo Meier. That's all he did. The only person that showed up for 7 games was Igor Shesterkin. That was it.
Yep.
And the Rangers were doing this when Henrik Lundqvist was the goalie, and they're doing it again with Shesterkin. They're relying on the goaltending and a lot of it. And if their offense dries up again, you're going to have the same problem. With the Capitals, again, you got nothing to lose, right? It's a series that the Rangers should win, but they're not going to. I'm going with the Capitals in 7. I don't think the Rangers are getting out of the first round. And I think the X Factor, as you mentioned before, by the way, this is also the Lindgren series, I might add, with Charlie Lindgren.
Yes.
Washington. Ryan Lindgren,
Yes.
his brother, is with the Rangers. Charlie Lindgren is going to be the biggest reason why the Capitals win this series, because Ryan Lindgren, as I was Charlie Lindgren, I was checking before we started talking about this, he's coming in playing pretty well. He's won his last 3 starts, which obviously got them into the playoffs. He won 4 of his last 5. Overall this season, he went 25, 6, and 7 with a 2.67 goals against average and a .911 save percentage. That is very good, considering the fact that they're paying a lot of money to Darcy Kemper, who has been shaky. I just have a tough time believing that the Rangers offense is going to be there consistently. They have the team that's capable enough to win a Stanley Cup. They do. They really do. It's a great Ranger team. But also the President's Trophy curse is a real thing, as we all know. It's a real thing. All of the pressure is on the Rangers. None of it is on the Capitals. If the Capitals steal a game in the Garden, Rangers are in some deep shit, if you ask me.
Yes, they are.
Shit. And the pressure's really going to start to get really on them. So I just have a tough time believing in the Rangers. I know people will say because I'm a Devils fan and I'm just picking against the Islanders and the Rangers just because I don't like either team, but that's not really what it is. For the Rangers, it's simply that, kind of like with the Maple Leafs. Show me something. That's what I want to see. I want to see Panarin step up. I want to see Zibanejad step up. I want to see Kreider step up. I want to see guys other than Shesterkin step up. I want to see that. If you don't get it, you're done. You're getting knocked out in the first round, and that's that. They found the right coach in Peter Laviolette. They have no reason not to go far in these playoffs. None. But I don't think that they go further than this first round. So again, Capitals in 7 for me.
Listen, man, I mean, you do make good points. Again, Charlie Lindgren is going to be a massive problem the entire series. But part of me just thinks that Panarin is finally going to show up. Zibanejad is finally going to show up. Part of me just thinks that. It's my opinion. Hey, look, listen. If I am wrong, I will come on and publicly apologize to the Washington Capitals live on my next stream. Okay? So that's if the Capitals win this series. I will publicly apologize to them if they win. But I don't expect them to. You know, I just think that this Rangers team is different. They're on a mission this year. But here's the thing. If they don't do it this year, when? When will they? You either have to do it this year or next year or the year after that. If you don't, this was all for nothing. Period. Heath, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with everyone on this podcast that's spoken about this series so far. I mean, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Igor Shesterkin is a problem in my mind in this series. He has been inconsistent at best all year. He's been able to string together 2 or 3 maybe good games in a row, and then he has 2 or 3 really poor games. I don't see him finishing this series as the starter, even if when they come out of it as the winner. I see Jonathan Quick stealing that job. He has the experience. He has a cup. He has 3 cups. If you get Jonathan Quick, as Jonathan Quick has been this year, plus his playoff experience, plus everyone knows that's a Ranger fan, knows what Jonathan Quick looks like in the playoffs. If that guy shows up, that they're winning every series and they're going to be a Stanley Cup champion. My concern is Igor Shesterkin. It's been my concern all year. There was a part of the year where Jonathan Quick was the starter for a few games there where he was playing really, really well. I think he only lost like 6 games all year, and maybe even less. He's played really well. My concern is Igor Shesterkin. It's not the players. It's a little bit reverse of what everyone has been saying on that end. I think I think it's can Igor Shesterkin show up? I with that being said, I do have the Rangers in 6, and I'm leaning towards 7. I'm really leaning towards them losing the 2 first games in Madison Square Garden, and I think those are going to be the only 2 games Igor Shesterkin plays in these playoffs.
Wow, that's a bold take right there, man. Wow.
As much as it hurts me to say that, because I love Igor Shesterkin's play, I just don't think that he's had it this year, and I don't think that Laviolette's going to wait on that. I think that he's going to make a bold decision in Game 3 because every coach knows you make that decision in Game 4 and you're already down 3-0. You either look like a total idiot or you look like the smartest person on the world. So, with that being said, I'm going to go Rangers in 6, but I'm going to say Igor Shesterkin is not the starter by the end of the series.
Well, listen, Kyle, I'll let you go. I apologize, but Heath, that's a really good point you bring up because if you are Peter Laviolette, do you pull the trigger and go with Jonathan Quick? Because if you do, and if he plays the way he's been playing all year, because let's face it, the Rangers tend to play a lot better with a backup goalie in net. They don't seem to play that good with a starter anyway. So why not pull the trigger? Why not take a chance on Jonathan Quick? He's been stellar this season for the Rangers. If Peter Laviolette does that and he fires on all cylinders, this team is going to be a problem. But until I see that, I'm still not feeling good about this series. So I'm still going Rangers in 6 like you are. Go ahead, Kyle. I'm sorry.
I'll do my pick and then I have to jump off. I got some guests here.
You're good.
The Washington Capitals are going to win this series in 7 games.
Wow.
Yeah. So everything about this, though, says that the Rangers should win this series. It should not be close, And I was going to echo what I think, Neil, what you mentioned earlier is, and even actually, I think, Jimmy, you said earlier too, was that Charlie Lundgren has been playing very well, and he could be an issue come this series. So, I mean, I'll echo everything you guys have just said. It's just the playoffs, man. Like, we all saw it happen last year with Florida, and it wouldn't surprise me if something like this happens, right? I don't have any rhyme or reason for it. I don't have any evidence to really back this up at all.
Yeah.
I just have this sneaky feeling that they're going to win this series. I think whoever mentioned earlier too about Ovechkin, I mean, it might be his last run. It's not a bad top 6 either. TJ Oshie's another dog there. Dylan Strom's been really good. Dylan or Ryan? Dylan, whatever it is.
Dylan
Strom's been a dog too. I mean, that top 6 can still make some noise, right? And even on that power play, they're still very efficient on that power play too. So, but you're right. I mean, hey, the biggest problem at the beginning of the year was the fact that Shesterkin wasn't playing well and that Quick came in, right? So we'll see how that. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens in Game 1 if Shesterkin doesn't play well, and then what do you do? So, I'll kind of end it with that though. I have to head out, but Caps in 7, baby. Let's go.
No problem. Hey, listen, Kyle, thank you so much for joining us. You're welcome back anytime.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, my man.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Anytime. So, unfortunately, Kyle disagrees.
Jimmy, I also do have to split as well.
You're good.
I got to sign off, but it was great to see everybody.
Well, actually, before you do sign off here really quick, let me give Austin and Andrew's predictions for this series. Andrew has the Rangers in 6 like I do, and Austin.
Oh no!
I don't know if Austin. I don't know. Actually, he does have the Rangers in 4. He actually has the Rangers in 4. He has them sweeping the Caps.
Dude, okay.
That's a little,
which is not going to happen, but it is what it is. But Neil, you're the best, my man. Thank you so much for coming on. You're also welcome back anytime you want. Maybe we'll have you back on for a second round preview. How's that?
Yeah, absolutely. Heath, pleasure to meet you, my friend. Jeff, always good to see you, buddy. Kim, love you, kid. Great to see you. And Jimmy, have a good night, man. Thank you for having me on as always, man. Appreciate it. And we will all talk soon. Playoffs, baby. Let's get it going.
Absolutely, my brother. Always a pleasure. You take care of yourself.
Later, guys.
Later. All right. So that was Kyle and Neil Villapiano. Thank you to both of them for hopping on. So we got 2 more picks on the night. Jeff, go for it, my man. Do you trust your New York Rangers or our New York Rangers in this series?
I do.
Okay.
Igor Shesterkin, since February, I believe, has lost 2 games. This is not the beginning of the year. If it was the beginning of the year, I think the goaltending question would be a little bit more of a concern to me. It hasn't been. I think if Igor Shesterkin is not the starter at the end of the series, they're not winning the series. I don't think they're going to advance with Quick. Quick has not been as good. If you look at his goals against, the last several starts he had, it has not been that good. And he's also been playing in the lower tier opponents. But let's go back to the series overall here. The Rangers have not played well in DC at all recently. Matter of fact, I went down for the game in December. Lindgren shut them out 4-0. It actually was the worst game the Rangers played the entire year. But I believe the Rangers maybe had 17 or 18 shots in that game. They didn't really test them. It was almost reminiscent of Kira Schmid last year. Like, all of a sudden it happens, but they don't test them. The Capitals, let's just real quickly break it down because I know we've been on here a while. They went into the season with their number 1 and number 2 center. They're not on the team anymore. They went into the season with Darcy Kemper as their starting goalie. He's not on the team anymore. They have a rookie head coach. Laviolette's been in the league. There are concerns with the Rangers. Don't get me wrong. This is not a foolproof team. As a matter of fact, as I said before, I think if they played Carolina in the second round, I'd be concerned. I probably would pick against them. In this series, though, I'm taking them in 6. However, it would be typical Ranger fashion for it to be Rangers in 7 to make it difficult. I'll leave it at that.
It would be typical fashion. You're right. And last but not least, Kim, what do you got, my friend?
Now, I know I'm an Islanders fan, but just hear me out here. I've been looking at this series. Like, it's not me choosing. I want to give like an honest opinion on this series and how I'm looking at it. Of course, I mean, Rangers, your goaltending is fantastic, especially with the addition of Quick. Has been a great addition for you guys. I think a big thing too is kind of health wise with you guys keeping healthy, especially with Ryan Lindgren in the back there. You guys play better with Lindgren in the lineup. Lindgren has had problems staying healthy. I think if you guys, and you know what, the Caps are a physical team. They are a physical team. Tom Wilson. You gotta be, I'm serious
screw
here.
Him.
But I'm serious with staying healthy, and I think especially someone like Ryan Lindgren, who's got health issues. He's been
right.
on and off here and there, and I mean it's shown that the Rangers have had skids without him in the lineup. Do you put in Rempe there to go head to head with the Tom Wilson? God forbid. I'm just straight up saying what I think here, but that's an option there. Again, with offensive talent, I mean, you guys struggle very hard 5v5. And that is the biggest downfall for the Rangers and why games won't produce how you want them to. You can't just expect to win every game with power play goals behind your back. You got to put up the 5v5s. And then, of course, we're talking about the other Lindgren who, has been hot. So this is going to be a big problem for the Rangers going into the series. And you know what? We were talking about the dogs on the Capitals, like TJ Oshie, like Ovechkin. How about we give some credit to Sonny Milano over here?
Oh,
I feel like he's someone has not gotten the spotlight, and he has been a quiet, sneaky effort. You know what I mean? He's been a great addition for them this year, and is part of the reason I think they snuck into the playoffs as they did. So I think these are things that are gonna topple and pile on one up on each other, and I will say I have gone back and forth on who takes this series, and I'm serious about that because I can see and we were talking about pressure. It's all on the Rangers, and it's
I agree
nothing on the Caps, and that underdog entity. What do we have to lose? What do we have to lose here? And Caps have done it. They've done the run. They've done the cup. I know Ovi would love to sniff another one. But this is going to be an interesting series for me. Caps in 7.
Oh, my good.
Wow.
Oh,
I'm going to cut off now that we got through all of our predictions. I got to cut off.
Hey, that's the end of our episode anyway, but thank you all so much for joining me. You all are the best. Make sure you go follow every single one of these guys. Tell the people where they can find more about you and your show and all of your social media. Jeff, since you're going to jump off first, I'll start with you. How can people find your show?
Mind Your Puckin' Business. We tape live on YouTube and everywhere else on Tuesday mornings. Check us out. We've had a really good year with growth. We've had NHL writers on. We'll have Dan Rosen on with us again next week.
Nice.
So check it out. Mind your fucking business, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Hey, take it easy, Jeff. Thank you so much. Heath, how can people find more about your guys' show with CD?
Yeah, you guys can follow us at PHH Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, basically any social media that's out there. And keep up with me. I post all of our stuff at Goldiewood32. We're trying to get more into the playoffs, so we're going to be talking about playoff hockey coming up, and junior playoff hockey, and all the other divisions, including the ACHA, NCAA, and we'll be getting into those in a few episodes here. So keep an eye out for those.
I like it. And Kim, how can people find your show and your social media?
All right, my social media is right here on the screen. IslesGirl3, Twitter, YouTube, and my Discord. Everything Islanders is going to be covered by me. I'm going to be doing playoffs, I do live streams, play-by-play, live reactions to everything going on, as well as Sunday night podcasts called Kim in the Crease. I do it live, bounce off questions, anything that goes on. You know, I'm here to talk with you guys about anything Islanders and things going around the league. So just follow me by this username. You will find me.
Awesome stuff, guys. Awesome stuff. This was a fun first round playoff preview. Hopefully, we'll have you guys back on for a second round preview, barring if any of our teams get there. No, I'm kidding. We're going to do it regardless. But even still, guys, thank you so much for joining me. You are welcome back anytime you want. Thank you guys so much. You're all awesome.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thanks for having us.
Anytime, guys. Make sure you go subscribe to Kim Moisa, a.k.a. IslesGirl3. Go follow her on all social media. Go subscribe to Kim in the Crease. And make sure you go subscribe to Heath and CD's show and follow them on all social media as well. That is going to do it for us. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this content, make sure you smash that like button on YouTube. And also subscribe and hit that bell so you stay notified of every single episode. And just another reminder, we are sponsored by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is your number one source for the best deals on sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, and more. Go to SeatGeek.com or download the SeatGeek app and use promo code BLUESEATS, all one word, by the way, BLUESEATS, for $20 off your first ticket purchase. For Heath, Neil, Kyle, Jeffrey, and for Kim, my name is Jimmy. This is From the Blue Seats, a New York Rangers podcast. Enjoy the Stanley Cup playoffs. They are finally here. We'll catch you in the next episode. Peace and take care.